Okay everyone, how's it going? It's me here again, and this video is just going to be over Fallout 4. It's been a while. I've been meaning to do it, but I've just been so caught up in other things, I haven't really got the time to actually do a video for this. I recorded for it earlier, and that was like close to being done with the game, but now I've beat the game. I did the Brotherhood mission. There's still some other stuff I need to do in it, but I'm going to go back to those later. I'm just going to talk about what I played right now, because I think I've played it enough of it that I can actually talk about it. Now, I'm just going to start with the things that I really didn't like about Fallout 4, and the first thing is just the aging engine, obviously. I mean, the engine's kind of old. I mean, it looks good in this game, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's slowly getting older. It's not able to stand up to other games. Now, don't get me wrong, graphics aren't everything, but that was one of the things that kind of hurt me with this game, because when I see an open world game, I kind of want the world to look good in it. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but when I'm doing open world going from place to place all across the land, I want the environment to look good. I mean, Witcher 3 did it fine because Witcher 3 is kind of cartoony in a way, but to me, I think cartoony graphics age a little bit better than actual, more realistic graphics, Twilight Princess, for instance, but that was one of the things. The next thing was the dialogue options just didn't seem as good. I don't know. They did it like Mass Effect, but Mass Effect did it better. It's kind of like the little wheel, and there's 4 different options. One of them's sarcastic that you can pick, but when you pick this stuff, you don't know what you're gonna say, and I like to know what I'm gonna say. In the previous games, you had like this long, written out sentence of what you're gonna say, and I've heard there's a mod for the game that fixes that, but it's like, if you're gonna release a game with a dialogue option like that, especially Fallout, it needs to already have full, fleshed out sentences of what's gonna be said. But, like, if I was gonna go in there, like I said, there's a sarcastic option. You don't know what you're gonna say there, so you don't know if the person's gonna hate you, if they're gonna like you. It's just, what am I gonna say? And then they have, like, the options like good or bad, and really, I didn't understand how they did this, because usually when they have, like, good or bad, it's usually, like, maybe blue or green's good, orange or yellow's kind of, like, in between, and then just red straight up, like, this is rebel stuff right here, what you're gonna say. And that didn't really do it in this. I think it was orange, red, and yellow, and it's like, I don't know if this is good, bad, or what. It's like, okay, I'll just click this colored option, and I'll go with it. And it usually, for the most part, I was always able to get it to work. It's like, I feel like I didn't actually have to put enough into, like, making people like me to actually pick that option. It's just like, oh, click, I'll roll the dice, I got a 6, I guess, so, oh, I got the option to go. So, I didn't feel like I need to put points into charisma to be able to use these. It's just, they always worked. So, it was like, but moving on, some other kind of minor things was, I didn't feel like this game was really full with quests. I mean, maybe I haven't found them all, but I feel like I've adventured a ton in the game, and it's just like, where's all the quests? And maybe it's just me, but I feel like a lot of it was due to the fact that, for like, if you're doing quests for the Minutemen, there are a lot of repeatable quests, because they're settlement quests. So you're going back and forth between same different settlements, trying to just help them with the same exact problems they were having before. Maybe in different locations, but it's like, oh, I have helped you with raiders before, now I have to help you with raiders again here. And it's just like, oh, I helped them with raiders, but it always came back and said they've joined your settlement. It's like, what's going on? So the repeatable quests really seem to hurt this, and I get what they were trying to do. I really do with the repeatable quests, especially for the Minutemen, because they're trying to do with the settlements and everything, which those weren't a bad idea, but it's just like, I wish they didn't like fully put repeatable quests into that. And of course, when I looked at a list of like already known quests for this game, I've already done a majority of those. And the Brotherhood, I think, has like 3 or 4 repeatable quests maybe, and I did a majority of those side quests, and then of course that main quest. And of course for like each person there's like there's main quests and the side quests, and usually the side quests, but what I saw were repeatables. And then of course, as I already said, I've done a majority of the main quests for each one already. So it just didn't feel as full of quests as like what New Vegas was. For me, New Vegas story-wise was the best one, and I really enjoyed the quests I did in that. It just seems so much of a better game, although it had more bugs than what Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 do. But those were the main things that really hurt me. Really just what hurt me for this game was like, when you do like companionships, like, you know, you can make like Piper your love interest and everything, or just companions in general, it's just like, I feel like sometimes you drop dialogue, they don't always say as much. Now, what's neat about this is when like something happens, they'll just randomly talk, instead of like in the previous games where they just stay quiet and don't say a single thing. I remember I had Nick with me, he's the detective synth, and I ended up finding the the spaceship real early, the one that crashes and drops the blaster. I ended up finding that early, and it's just crashing. He's like, oh, did you see that? And so I like how they'll just randomly have something to say here and there, and every once in a while, depending on your companions, they will interact with each other. I have 2 female companions back at the settlement. When I switch between them and who's going to follow me, they will interact with each other for a little bit, or like, it's the robot, the butler robot, I guess you could say. I can't remember his name. Codswell, I think it is. Him and Piper will interact sometimes, so it's really neat to see. But sometimes when you're talking to them specifically, like between you and them, I'll be talking to them and like I'll say something that's like, how's our relationship going? Or I'll say, what's your thoughts? And they'll say something. I'll be like, pick the option, never mind. My character will say, never mind, and just out of nowhere they'll be like, oh, okay, and it just drops. It's not like, oh well, I'll talk to you later. But I understand partially because it's a big game, so they can't get all that in. But one thing I found very hilarious with this game is that when you don't talk, when you like you're in the middle of talking with someone, you just don't pick a thing to talk about at all. Sometimes they'll just be like, the other guy will go, well, silence is usually a bad thing. Are you gonna say anything? I thought that was really funny if you just don't say anything for so long. And then, of course, there was the bugs I featured in the game. I've only come across 2 bugs, 3 technically. One of them is where like the screen will go like and move up to the upper left, so I have like this black bar on the bottom and up to the top right. It's just like, where did this come from? Why did the screen scoot to the upper left of my monitor? What is going on? There were some lag issues, which generally when games first come out there usually is. There were some issues where it's just like in the beginning of the game, and I didn't have this happen to me later in the game, was I'll just be talking and for some reason my dialogue options wouldn't come up. And these only hurt me in the beginning of the game, but they eventually just left earlier, so I'm assuming they patched that real quick. And then just some crashes here and there, I think I had like 1 or 2, but overall, like, as I got later into the game, it just, not as many bugs actually happened besides that one where the screen will move up to the top left for whatever reason. So they patched those real quick, so I was kind of pleased with that, so they didn't hurt me for the rest of the game, so I was able to actually enjoy it. But moving on to the things that were actually good with the game. One, the story. The story's not bad. It's better than 3, but it's still worse than New Vegas. You're pretty much just a dad trying to find your kid after you wake up from being in the vault. Because the game starts off at the beginning, before the fallout actually happens, before the nuclear bombs come down. And then you go into the vault, you go into like a little cryostasis, and you wake up. And from what I understand was in the Fallout lore, technically, each vault was kind of their own experiments in a way, and this one was more cryostasis. But after that, your kid gets kidnapped by the Institute, and you have to go look for him. And the story was overall great. As I said earlier, there was very few quests. I think there's like 11 or 12 main mission quests in this, and I was like, that feels very little compared to what actually needs to go on. I understand there's supposed to be a ton of side quests later, but I'm not seeing that in Fallout. As I said, there seems very little, and most of them for side quests per each faction are really repeatables, and each one of those only has like 7 or so quests, so those will all like move into each other depending on who you actually go with. So they come out a little bit longer, but I wish there was a little bit more to it, especially side quest wise. They're just not as much. But the settlements are another thing, and I somewhat like those. Those were kind of neat. It's a pain having to go gather resources because you run out because you're trying to build like this awesome looking house, but it's neat because you set up defenses for each one of the settlements. Now, I haven't really been attacked. I think I've only been attacked like twice for the whole time I played the game. The first time was by super mutants, the second time was by ghouls, and it was on the exact same settlement for whatever reason. I think I had like 4 settlements throughout the whole thing. And it's kind of neat because you can connect them through with little brown caravans, so you can connect resources per each one. You can put food crops in each one so they can have food, and you can assign people to those. You can build like little stores. You can't actually use them, but your people will actually use them, because when you go and use them, you just trade between them. But your people actually use them, and that actually raises their happiness. So I liked how you actually had to keep your settlements happy by adding defenses, beds, food, stores, just whatever you could to keep them safe, make them feel at peace. And graphically, the game looked really good for what it was. As I said earlier, the engine's aged, but for what it was trying to do, it looked nice. The voice acting was really good in the game. I, for one, had fun with the game. I feel like for $60, even though there's quite a few things I don't like about it that I wish they would have done differently, I still feel like it was worth the price that I paid for it. I mean, I got a little fleece blanket with it, and I'm happy because this fleece blanket is really warm, and I'm actually using it right now for this chair because this chair is uncomfortable and I need to buy a new one, so this is kind of cushioning this chair. So I paid like $60 and a penny because this blanket was worth a penny instead of $99 for me, and I love it. So overall, the game was very, very good. I love the customization for the weapons. Instead of like in the other Fallout games where like junk was pretty much just worthless, you can actually use it for stuff in this. You can customize your weapons in it, you can give them different handles, you can put a bayonet on a shotgun, you can make the plasma weapons even better. I mean, the alien blaster, I mean, when you actually customize that thing looks cool, and that thing is probably one of the best weapons in the game. I mean, giving a scope on it, giving a scope on any weapon for that matter, giving them bigger drums for ammo. I mean, this game's just really neat, and I love the power armor. The power armor in this game is so much better. I mean, it actually takes fusion cores because it actually has to run on energy, and also the way it's just handled in this, it's more clunky and everything. It reminds me of like, say, like Spartan armor from Halo or the Space Marine armor from Dawn of War. I mean, it's just big, it's clunky. I mean, you can hear these people coming, and by the end of the game, I got a jetpack on my space armor. Space armor. Oh my god. I think I just lost my nerd card. On my power armor. And that's, let me tell you, that's just fun because when you jump in the power armor and come down heavy, I mean, this, you just crash down and you can hear someone crash down. So, I mean, jumping off a building with a minigun and a jetpack, who does not want to do that in power armor? That's one of the greatest things I think I've seen in this game, because let me tell you, I have like 12 power armors because I just found them laying out throughout the wasteland, so, or the Commonwealth I should say. Some of them were given to me, others I found, and I like how you can customize each one differently, and they actually have headlamps on. I mean, that's just great. And of course, I love how in this game it features a lot of really big battles. I'm not even joking. I mean, I was doing a quest when I had to find the Lost Patrol, and I went to this one place where there's a ton of super mutants, and I will tell you, once the Brotherhood shows up, they actually patrol the place in their little vertibirds. They will actually fly around, and if they see like enemies on the ground, they'll drop in space marines. Oh my god, what am I saying? Brotherhood members, and they'll be in their power armor obviously, and they'll jump out of those, they'll land, and they'll take care of business there, and the vertibirds will still be around. I was doing a quest for the Institute, but I was secretly working for the Brotherhood, and it was a three-way fight. It was between the Railroad, the Brotherhood, and the Institute, and we were all fighting each other, and there were vertibirds going around. I mean, they were crashing. I mean, it was intense, and those battles, I really felt like I was there. It's like, oh, this is amazing. This is what I've always wanted in a game, is having a three-way battle in this, and it really did that. Especially later, because Liberty Prime actually makes an appearance in this game because they rebuild it, and you use it to go attack the Institute. So you're having Liberty Prime here just mow everyone down as you're following him like you did in Fallout 3, and you have like 4 or 5 Brotherhood members with you, and when you get to the Institute place, I mean, there's vertibirds, there's Brotherhood members again. I mean, they really want to do big battles in this, it seemed like, and I just really love that. And I love how people actually seem to patrol the Commonwealth more. I mean, you'll see Children of the Atom, which I hardly ran into, but I saw them here and there, or I saw like big groups of super mutants, or I saw some Brotherhood members just go around. And let me tell you, those vertibirds of the Brotherhoods go down really quick. I mean, it's just kind of sad. I thought they would have been a little bit tougher, but I mean, I can understand the Institute, but consider mutants, I mean, come on. And Deathclaws, let me tell you, are extremely tough in this. I actually had a Deathclaw follow me, and I was running away, and I was just going over to this mercenary group in this old asylum, and it just killed them all. So if I was to rank the games that were nominated for Game of the Year in order, I would put Witcher 3 obviously there. I would think Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid 5 for me would be second, and Arkham Knight would be third. That's where I think these belong. I mean, as I said earlier, Fallout 4 is a great game, and it was well worth the money I spent on it. Of course, I've said things I don't like about it, but especially since some of the bugs were fixed since then, the pros outweigh the cons in this, because there's so many more pros for this game. And overall, I really enjoyed it. If you haven't played it, I would highly recommend it, especially if you like the Fallout games. If you have played it, let me know what you thought, if you did or did not like it, and why. It doesn't matter, it's your opinion. As I always said, opinions are opinions, so you can have them if you want to. And I will see you guys next time.